Sanghi, I am so excited to have you back on my show. I feel like it's been forever since I've talked to you. I can't wait to hear all the updates on everybody. And so just thank you so much for being willing to come back.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here. I miss you. It has definitely been a while.
Mhm. I'm thrilled. I have actually been so excited all morning. I could not wait to sit down and talk to you. So give us an update. How are you? How are your pigs? How's everything going?
Yeah, so we actually chatted, I think, when I was like early in my pregnancy, right? So yeah, pigs are doing great. Poppy is now 4 years old. Podrick is gonna be 2 years old next month. Both of them have their own personalities. I feel like they're both like a full 180 in terms of personalities. Um, Obviously, whatever I had done to my backyard to make it pretty has been now destroyed because of the pigs. But I think it comes with the territory there. And then yeah, we have my daughter. She is now 14 months old. It's really cute watching all three of them interacting and growing up together. So yeah.
I can't wait to talk about that. So I want to ask you one thing. So Poppy is 4.
Mhm. Yes.
How has how has her energy level? Has it started to come down a little bit
It
yet?
has, yeah. It actually has. So I was panicking when we brought my daughter home because I thought she was getting depressed.
Mm,
I legit was like, "Oh my goodness, is Poppy okay? Is she just getting really depressed, um, or is it because she is getting older and she is mellowing out?" So we've I mean, I'm observing her behavior. Anytime she does get one-on-one time with me, she is very excited.
yeah.
So yeah, we're kind of putting it to the nope, she's just mellowing out.
Yeah. I've seen like with my pigs over the years around 3 they
Mhm.
have that first kind of chill mellow out. By 5, I feel like they do a complete calm down. They're
Yeah,
more
yeah, yeah.
lazy, they lay around, they want to cuddle more, that kind of a thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Poppy still has her like she likes her things to be specific in terms of snuggling or blanket nesting and
Yes.
all of that. She's still very, very particular on that. She still has her anxiety around new things. But otherwise, no, so all of those are still there. But yeah, she's definitely mellowed out a lot, a
Yes,
lot.
very cool. I
Yeah,
love that because when they're little, they have so much energy. They're like a ball of fire.
that's Podrick right now.
And he's 2, right?
He's gonna be two. Yeah, he's
Gonna be
almost
2.
two.
Okay, yeah. He's still got that baby, those childhood, oh my gosh, energy. And so I get a lot of calls from people who are like, will this pig ever calm down? I'm like, you gotta give it a few years.
I know. Yeah. Yeah.
But it does. It does calm down. So you mentioned you guys have had a huge change in your life. You had a baby, beautiful little
Baby,
girl.
first time parents here.
Yes.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
So amazing. She's adorable. I hate that I live so far away because I just want to kiss those cheeks. She is beautiful.
Oh, thank
So
you.
cute. How is she doing?
She's doing good. She's doing really, really good. She did arrive a little bit earlier
Okay.
than I wanted. And I think just a little thing to other moms, don't expect your birth plan to go to plan. It
Yeah.
was not executed at all.
Same. Yep.
But otherwise, no, she's been doing great. She's got like, God, 14 teeth now. She loves interacting with the pigs, which I know we'll go into about like how we introduced them. But yeah, otherwise, no, she's doing good. She's great.
That's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. So let's go ahead and walk through the steps a little bit because honestly, this is a question that I get all the time.
Mhm,
I'm pregnant or I have a new baby. What should I do? What should I know? How can I set these family members up for success when it comes to our pigs? So first
mhm,
of all, let's talk about pregnancy.
mhm,
How did the
mhm.
pigs do during your pregnancy?
So so first thing was when I first found out I was pregnant, I found out very early, like around 5 weeks. I only had Poppy. So Poppy, obviously, I feel like at 5, at that early, they're not able to tell or anything. But I think the first thing I did was figure out, is it safe for us to get another pig? Because I feel like that was like the first thing. I know, like, if I ask other moms are going to be like, oh, I should have done that, then their husbands are going to be mad or something, but and chalk it up to like hormones. But I was like, no, it's more of being able to have another, having like a partner
Mhm.
be able to speak the same language so
Yes.
that when all of the energy is going to be dedicated towards this new baby, Poppy has someone. Hence, Podrick came into the picture. Um, so that I feel like that was like the first biggest step thing that we did. Then the next one was I had especially because Podrick again, he's a little ball of fire, just like pow, pow, pow. So with Poppy, I actually was having her snuggling up with the belly. Like I would be like I'm raising up my shirt, skin is bare, and I am letting her snuggle up with the belly, feel the movement of the baby. The other one, I mean, Podrick, whenever he was mellowed out, I would also let him do that. Um, and then yeah, I just kind of noticed that they also started just getting Poppy was getting a little bit more protective. And
Mm.
then she was also, again, I'm not sure again if it was like an age thing or if she was being a lot more mellow in general with me. But she was definitely a lot more careful in terms of like interacting with me.
So
Um,
interesting.
yeah, so but I mean she sees me as her alpha or her mom, you
Yeah.
know. Um, so yeah, she was very much that was something that I observed, especially with her. Podrick, on the other hand, I mean, I got him when I was pregnant, so I
Right.
don't think you realized the difference yet. But yeah, I definitely noticed that change in behavior with Poppy she was, it was like a mix of asserting her dominance with Podrick, but then at the same time, she was also being very, very careful around me, during the pregnancy and whatnot.
Wow. Do you think that the fact that you let mostly Poppy, but both of them be like around your belly as the baby was growing, do you think that that made a difference?
I think so. Yeah, I actually think so. I mean, I don't know how much, I wish there was more research about it. I really do, but I wonder if they do sense like, I don't know, the hormonal changes, maybe the physical
Yeah.
aspects that happen with the hormonal changes.
Right.
Um, I wonder if that, but yeah, she kind of turned into like the nurturing little pig more than more than just sassy Poppy.
Right. Yeah, I wish there was more science on that too. That would be
Yeah,
so interesting.
yeah, yeah.
So anything else about your pregnancy that you did, like maybe letting them smell the blankets or, you're bringing in
Yeah.
all this new stuff.
So what's funny is that because Bree came early, I literally, it's like I went on maternity leave. I was only on maternity leave for maybe like less than 24 hours. And then they were just like, okay, we got to go induce. Like your blood pressure is getting high.
Oh my gosh.
All of my labs are totally normal, by the way. But they were just like, yeah, come on in to the hospital. We're gonna check you out and then we're gonna induce. So I missed out on the full like nesting period
Oh yeah.
that goes
How
into it.
early were you?
About 2.5 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually the part of a woman's pregnancy when she's in full mode of getting
Yeah.
things ready.
Yeah. So I completely missed out on nesting. And so, but I think that would have been the time where I'd be like, all right, go check out these blankets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I know one thing I did do when we did bring Brie home, was that yeah, some of her swaddles, some of some of the swaddles I did. There's one swaddle that I know she was in, and I just left it with the pigs. Like they
Mm,
were snuggling up with it. And so that swaddle, I kept it with them until basically they like tore it up, and I was like, okay,
mhm.
we're gonna throw it out. But
Yeah, it's so important for pigs to be able to smell her
yeah,
before they interact with her,
hmm
because that's how pigs know each other is by their smell. So,
yeah.
so once then you brought her home, then what did you do? Like, what steps did you take, or if any, to kind of ensure that they had a good relationship?
Yeah, so first thing we did was, if I'm trying to remember, it's first I would say make sure it's just your herd that
Yes.
does it. So no outsiders, not grandma, not
Mhm.
grandpa, like your specific herd. So it was mostly, my husband and I, we kept it just to ourselves in terms of the steps to incorporate Brie into the herd,
Mhm.
basically. So first thing was that we did bring like we had a pack and play that we kept nearby, and we allowed them to come and smell it, come kind of check out the area. Um, and then Podrick again, he's still like, what? So with him, it's like once he would start nudging the pack and play, we're like, okay, you're done.
Mhm.
Poppy, it was pretty quick to just be like, okay, leave it, and she listens. So that was, I mean, I feel like that was the first, that was like the biggest thing was just kind of keeping her close by, but at a different level.
Mhm.
And then once that kind of mellowed out, or I guess once they kind of got used to that smell and obviously the swaddle, leaving that in their bed, then I have like, because I have a like a child gate
Mhm.
there as well. And so I would bring Bree down and I'm holding her so that they can see her and they can smell her and that sort of thing. But
I
again,
love that.
it's
I
with the
love
gate, it's
that.
with the
Yes.
barrier.
Yes, because it's protection, but it also lets them feel protected too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
this new smell's not going to hurt me. Here I am behind this gate.
yeah.
Baby's safe. Everybody's safe, but they're able
Everyone's
to
in a
be
safe
close.
space. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's kind of the same kind of it's sort of the same kind of interaction that we do when we introduce a new pig into the family is like it's exactly what I did with Poppy and Podrick. They were in separate pens
Hmm.
for a while until they started getting used to each other, getting used to the routine. So that's pretty much, I mean, that's kind of what we did was just we kept any interaction when we were going to bring Bree down to their level, then it was with the child gate.
Hmm.
Um, and then once we slowly started doing like, okay, we're sitting on the couch, she's in our arms, the pigs are wandering on the ground. And then we would allow them to again, she's kind of still at an elevated level. The barrier is no longer there, but we're letting them smell her feet
Hmm.
and that sort of thing. And then or when another thing would be like I would try to sit down with them in in their little bed. And I would have her in my carrier.
Mm.
So I don't know. I know there's a photo I had posted on Instagram, I think, of that where both of them are there and they're kind of hanging out with me and she's literally in just the little carrier.
Yeah.
So those were big, I think those were the big ones. And then I think, yeah, once she got a little older, again, we're still careful with picking her up as soon as the pigs do something or if she does something. But it's funny because our fear was, oh, we're gonna have to take my daughter to the ED if the pigs do something. Now it's more of, oh, I'm gonna have to take the pigs to the vet if Brie does something because now she likes pulling their ears, pulling
Mhm.
their tails. Like I've caught her trying to put Podrick's tail in her mouth. She likes to pull on their nose and um so yeah, we have a couple of like caught footage of that. So yeah, it's it's like the roles got flipped.
Yeah.
So yeah, otherwise now they're kind of, now they're doing great. Again, we keep it still in like small short spurts. I wait for the pigs to be fully relaxed. and
Mhm.
then I'll bring Bree into the picture and be like, all right, you can sit down in their bed with them. I'm still there.
Mhm.
And yeah, so that's kind of how we've
Yes.
kept the interaction.
Okay, those are great suggestions. How do the pigs react to brie?
They they don't do anything. That's what I mean. I thought I would be taking her to the emergency department and be like,
Mhm.
"Oh, my pig attacked her."
Yeah,
But no,
right.
they do nothing. They let her, unless, especially with Poppy, she doesn't mind it at all. She just kind of continues with it. Unless Bree pulls at her very
Right.
hard, then she'll do her swipe. She doesn't bite. She's never bitten her, but she'll do that swipe of, okay, you've been in my
Yeah.
space too long.
Warning. I'm
Yeah,
done.
that warning. Yeah. And then Podrick, same kind of deal. He's been okay with it. It's actually funny because when she starts pulling up the ears, he gets very relaxed, like mohawk goes up, relaxed. And yeah, so no, they've actually been surprisingly amazing with her. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
That is awesome. And I'm sure that all the steps you took in the beginning are why
yeah,
they
yeah,
do so
yeah,
well.
yeah.
So they just kind of ignore her. They can be in the same space. What about when she has food?
Oh goodness, the high chair.
Yeah,
So one issue that we've been having, especially with Podrick, is he likes nudging that high chair and he's tipped over the high chair. Luckily, the times that Bree is in the chair, like we catch him nudging it and we are immediately like, all right, you're going back in your pen.
right.
So we've kind of associated when she's eating and all of that, we are keeping them completely separated. So they're either going outside or they're
Hmm.
going back into their pens.
Hmm.
Just to, again, it's more for safety reasons.
Hmm.
Once she's done eating, we try our best to remember to move the high chair into a specific corner in by our kitchen so that Podrick won't be able to knock it over. But
Hmm.
other that yeah, they're in that phase where they definitely are like looking up, waiting for the droppings.
Yes, absolutely. They're so smart. So they know this high chair is associated with food.
Hmm.
So I think that what you did by completely, you know, separating them at that time, the pigs, you're not punishing them, right? They get
No,
to go outside, they get to do something else that's fun, but you have to make sure Brie is safe.
right, right. Yeah.
So that's a no-brainer. Yeah, I think you handled that really well. So that's great. They seem to have, they can cohabitate well. They handle her well. She loves them, of course, likes
Yeah,
to play with them.
I would say I think yeah, it's definitely been very I want to say we've been very lucky because I
Yeah.
know I've seen other folks that again they have one pig, then they're bringing in the baby, and the
Hmm.
pig is getting aggressive or depressed or whatever, um and then yeah, like even to this day, the child is now 2 or 3 years old, and they're still having to keep both of them separated, which
Hmm.
is heartbreaking
Yeah.
because we want the whole herd to be together.
Yeah. Yeah. I get a lot of messages from people. And then what ends up happening, which is so sad, the pig ends up rehomed,
Yeah.
you know, because which you understand if you have an animal that's attacking your child, that can't happen. Like that's unacceptable.
Hmm. Hmm.
But but I think that there are a lot of things that people could do, and that's one of the reasons I really wanted to talk to you because we need to be proactive and we need to set our animals and our families up for success.
Hmm.
So then after after you had the baby, did you suffer from any kinds of, emotional difficulties, postpartum depression, baby blues, anything like that?
Oh my goodness, yes.
Did you really?
Yeah, so I mean, if for those that listen to our prior podcast, I did have depression and anxiety. So I mean, what the providers would call like high risk
Okay.
for postpartum, the baby blues. And so it's immediately actually after Bree popped out, I was like, all right, let's get me back on my meds like now. I was very much just proactive on like better safe than sorry
Mhm.
sort of thing. And I did go through the postpartum depression. even now, sometimes I feel like I still have it, and this is, over a year later. Um, Part of it is, that sense of guilt. Part of it is just your life is fully changed, not just there's a baby in your life, but physically your body,
Yep.
you still don't feel like yourself
Right.
at all. I still don't feel like myself. And yeah, I think that was definitely, again, setting myself up for success. Even Poppy, I think Poppy knows too. Poppy knew too. Because she's, again, like I said, she, even though she has mellowed out, she does still want to snuggle with me. She does this whole like, are you okay? Sort of
Aw.
like nose boop sort of thing, you know. Um, so yeah.
Wow. Animals are very intuitive, and what a joy and what a blessing to have them. There's so many things about our animals that get us through. I think we talked about this before, that one of the reasons that I've been able to kind of come out of my depression that I went through years ago was because I had children and then I had animals. So you don't have time to just think about yourself all the time.
Yeah.
And so they save us in so many ways. Plus, I mean, come on, when you have a pig, the entertainment is endless.
Oh gosh.
They make you
Yeah.
smile
Absolutely.
constantly.
Yeah.
And so you are still struggling a little bit with that?
Yeah. I mean, I think especially now, um, I've to put it blankly, I really don't like how what considers as like maternity leave in the US.
Oh yeah.
I feel like, obviously it varies state to state, but out here it's I was granted about up to 6 months basically of maternity leave. I still feel like that's not enough.
Yeah.
It's not enough, especially, um
Especially if you're nursing.
nursing,
Oh my
exactly. And
word.
you're pumping and
Mhm,
it's frustrating because
mhm.
I mean, some folks were just like, "Oh, yeah, you're nursing. That's like your opportunity to take or pumping. You're taking a nap. That's your opportunity to take a nap for, the amount of time." And I was like, "I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. I want
Yeah.
to go to bed. I just
Yes.
leave me alone."
Yeah.
Or it felt lonely. It just felt
Yeah.
very, very lonely that, oh, I have to go nurse.
Mhm.
And then it would be, me and my daughter going into a private room so she could feed. So that was like, I think that's also been another thing where I'm just like, we're going to do it publicly. Who cares?
Right. Right. There is so much stigma, but honestly, there are things that you can do so nobody even barely knows that you're nursing.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
So, yes,
I
I
mean, at
agree.
least, yeah, at least over here, I know I would say like here in California, they're a lot more, what's the word? Like nicer about it, or it's a
Yeah.
little bit more, they're more accepting of it out
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
Um, Especially by law,
Mhm.
it is definitely acceptable. In terms of other folks getting a little about
Right.
it, that's
Right.
on them. But
Right.
I
I
know
agree.
I'm perfectly safe
Yes.
to nurse in public. But yeah, it's still, I mean, it's just it was definitely just that sense of just you feel lonely. You
Mhm.
don't feel like yourself anymore.
Mhm.
It's even after, that, I mean, I'm sure you had that where after you had your baby and then the first time that you look into the mirror
Oh my word, yes.
and you don't recognize yourself.
Yes, I know. And then add on top of that the fact that you're not sleeping. You're waking up so many times a night to feed your baby. I need sleep. I get really grumpy when I don't have sleep, and I
Yeah.
get sick a lot when I don't sleep.
Yep. Yep.
So add to that that I didn't have any clothes to wear. I felt like it feels as a woman in our society, it feels very demoralizing. It feels like I can't show my face in public. I feel embarrassed, but I wish it wasn't like that. I think it's getting better.
Hmm.
I think that there are a lot of women who are now just like, you know what? Own that body. That body just did something absolutely
Exactly.
incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's just, I think that first step of, just you still, I mean, the thing is you still see yourself in the mirror and you're like, whoa, what
I know.
happened?
I know.
Basically. And so I think it did hit hard. The other thing that I rarely talk about was also because Bree came early. Um, and then she was very tiny. She was very, very tiny. She wasn't like, she was basically what we would call like like a late preemie.
Okay.
Um, but we brought her home and the thing was that she was a little bit jaundiced. She had mild jaundice. And her bilirubin level was just getting higher and higher. Um, and I know it's like, I know it's a very common thing especially amongst people of color, that it would be, they would have a higher bilirubin level. But she ended up getting admitted into the NICU the next day,
Oh.
overnight, just for the basically the jaundice treatment. Um, and I just remember I shut down
Hmm.
that time. And then, it's a mix of I just gave birth. I can barely walk.
Hmm.
Everything hurts.
Hmm.
I am exhausted. Um, so she was in the hospital overnight. And I just felt guilty. Like, I think that was like a big part of once I realized, okay, I definitely have postpartum, because I felt so guilty, even though everyone is telling me, you know, it's so common.
Right.
Even my kid was in the NICU because
Right.
of jaundice and so on and so forth. And so, I think that was like the biggest part where I was like, well, good thing I started my antidepressant as soon as she popped out.
Wow, that is, I can't even imagine. I know there are a lot of parents whose baby goes right into the NICU.
Mhm.
Um, but I mean, all the emotions, like the hormones in a woman after you have a baby, you can't
No. Oh
control
gosh,
any
no.
emotion.
No.
And so just that on top of it, I mean, that's overwhelming.
Yeah,
That's an overwhelming feeling.
and then it's like, when you get so tired or you're so just, I guess, closed off to the point that you kind of forget to eat,
Oh yeah.
forget to, so that was, I would say, like,
Mm.
my husband, Justin, he was amazing on just staying on top of everything, literally staying on top of everything.
What a
Um,
blessing.
Yeah, I know there was one thing where at nighttime, I would be we were trying to, because I was really trying to nurse
Yeah.
and at least figure it out. At least just feel like, okay, I figured it out. Yes.
Yes.
Um, but I remember, and it's funny because I get this a lot or I hear about it a lot from other moms where, they're nursing and then the dad just goes back to sleep,
Yeah.
or he's just sleeping the whole time.
Hmm.
And in this case, I asked Justin, I was like, hey, can you, like, I know we're all sleep deprived, but can you please just stay up with me just for that time being?
Hmm.
Again, I just don't want to feel lonely. I don't
Yeah.
want to fall asleep.
Yep.
Also, because something about nursing was also just making me even more drowsy. Like,
Oh my word, I know. Me
maybe it's
too.
just because you're relaxed. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I just was like, I need you to stay awake with me. I mean, we can watch something on YouTube together. I don't really
Mhm.
care. But I need some help staying up.
Support.
Yeah, and he
Support.
was with it. He was with me
Mhm.
on that. And it was so I that's something where I'm like, oh, gosh, I was so lucky.
What a great
I was
guy.
so lucky. Yeah.
What a great guy. Good job, Justin. That's awesome. Just so good. Um, I want to ask you, what do you think the biggest challenge has been since you had Bree bringing a new baby home when you have pigs?
I would say the biggest challenge was juggling all three of them.
Yeah.
They all have their own needs, especially with, Bree, it's like every couple of hours. And even now, I would say, like, yeah, sure, we have a routine figured out, but it's still juggling. It's still
Yeah.
very much juggling. At least I know with Poppy, I can kind of, she knows the routine. She's a lot more independent now. With Podrick, he can't sit still. I finally get them down to like chill out. And he, maybe 20 minutes later, he wakes up or he gets up and then he's like, I'm gonna go wander around. I'm gonna go come on, hang out on the couch. I want to go
Yeah.
outside.
He's
Meanwhile,
so
even
busy.
it's funny because even Poppy's getting annoyed with that too.
Funny.
Yeah, it's definitely been ju figuring out how to juggle all three of them.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I have to give you a lot of credit because when I had my kids, we had pigs at the time, but they were
Mhm.
outside pigs because we had rescued them. We didn't know how big they were going to get.
Right.
And my husband said, I remember him looking at me when we went to rescue this pig, and he said, "So in the house?" And I'm like, "No, probably not. Probably not." We built her this beautiful little piggy palace outside, and she had all this land, and she was great. But it was it was cool because as the kids grew up, we would let her out in the yard when the kids were playing, and she would just stick around us, but
Mhm.
she was never aggressive towards them.
Mhm.
She wasn't, I wouldn't say that she was overly excited to see them, but
Mhm.
we would let her out and she would come and she would mostly stay by my legs and just kind of, and it's a good thing we didn't take her in the house. She ended up being 250 pounds.
Oh gosh.
She was really big
Yeah,
pig,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
I loved that pig. And so the fact that you have two pigs and you have a baby that uh, that's so much. That is just, that's so much work. That's so much juggling, like you said.
And we don't have a lot of land.
Yeah, right. But you guys, you do a great job. You
Thank you.
really
We're
do.
trying. We're
Your
trying.
pigs, they're happy, they're healthy. I can see, like, just by someone watching your Instagram channel, they can tell that your pigs adore you, that
Mhm.
they trust you. So obviously, you're juggling well.
We're trying.
You're
Thank you
doing
for saying earlier that I still look good.
You do. You look beautiful.
Thank you.
You do. Oh my goodness. So, all right. Do you have any suggestions, advice for anybody who has a pig that wants to have a baby or maybe is pregnant now?
Oh gosh, I think the first step is I know a lot of partners are going to be very angry with
I
me
know
when
what you're
I
going to
say
say.
this, but get another pig.
Mm,
Just get another pig. And preferably, again, I'm very much of I wanted to originally I really wanted to just adopt for the second pig. I wanted to
right.
get a rescue. But the other thing is you're pregnant or you want to
Yeah.
have kids. You need to, unfortunately, adopting a rescue is coming with whatever trauma or whatever history that pig
Right.
has. So I did find it a lot easier that we pretty much had a baby piglet to work
Mhm.
with. So yeah, if you do find a rescue that does have baby piglets available, then I think that would be a good option. Again, that way those two have each other to support each other and they're, someone that speaks their language before their baby arrives. And then yeah, the other biggest thing is have them interacting with the belly during the pregnancy. As much as you can,
Mm-hmm.
as much as you can. I know there's times where I've seen like, I can feel that she's moving around or she's kicking. And I remember I can't remember if it was Poppy or Podrick, but she definitely kicked or punched him or punched them, one of them. And I think they were a little bit like they did a little jump, but then they were back to just snuggling with the belly. So just making sure that all of that interaction is there.
Yeah. I love that. That's so cute. Um, I think a lot of times, just as a mom, who wants to be protective, especially a first time mom, in the beginning, I think that it's very human for us to want to keep everybody separate.
Mhm.
You know, I'm pregnant. Maybe even your husband would say things like, be careful around the pig.
I get that a lot from him. He's like, be
Yes.
careful. I
Yes.
was like, I'm like, it's gonna be
It's
okay.
fine. It's fine. So I think you did so many things to kind of set your family up for success. Also, you you did already have Poppy for what, 3 years?
Yeah, yeah, about
A little more than 3 years.
yeah.
Before Bree was born, you knew her. She trusted you. You were a leader, so she didn't have a bossy or aggressive tendencies before the baby. So it's important to put the time in beforehand. Know
Mhm.
and trust your pig. Don't don't keep them away. Let them be with you. As you're putting the stuff in the baby's room and bringing in the crib, let them go in the room. Don't just put a baby gate up and keep them
Completely
away.
separate. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
this is
mean,
their life too.
yeah, unfortunately, they don't climb, they're not able to climb the stairs because her nursery
Oh,
is upstairs.
but
But we did our best to keep we did our best to at least keep them kind of in the same room. Like I said, I had the pack and play.
right.
Another one was the swing. I don't again that was something I think I had posted on one on their Instagram was they're both like posing and smelling the
Yep.
swing and they're giving her little nose boops and all of that. So yeah, it's again, I was still doing my best to have them interacting or being in the same room
Hmm.
almost every day.
Yeah,
So that's that I would say that, yeah, that's the biggest thing is like, and again, keep it amongst the herd.
right.
Do not let anyone from the outside coming in and trying to
That
do
is great
interaction.
advice
Yeah.
because then there's too many things involved.
Hmm.
Another person, I don't know about your pigs, but my pig isn't comfortable if somebody else is in our house.
No, no, they're not. They're
Yeah.
Poppy, especially Poppy, she's not. So yeah,
So
it
why do that? Why put them on guard already and then bring a baby into it?
yeah, exactly. I think that the reason I also say that is especially for first time parents, is you're gonna get a lot of that unsolicited advice.
Yes.
And I know I get a lot, especially from my parents. And then, we get a little bit here and there from like basically just from both of our parents. It's a generational thing.
Right.
It's gonna come in. But yeah, I think there was one time where my mom was trying to have Bree and the pig interact. And again, yeah, there was a child gate, but Poppy is also she's guarded. She's
Yeah.
being on her guard. So that's where it was like both of us are telling my mom, like, no, this needs to be something that
Right.
we are doing because she knows that I'm the alpha. She knows
Yep.
that I'm her mom. She knows that Justin is the dad. So it's she's gonna be a lot more relaxed in
Yes.
that sort of situation.
She's going to react to your mom, and then that could have an effect on her relationship with Bree.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And a huge safe, overall, just a whole safety thing.
Yes,
I remember that was
exactly.
something that also I took the advice. I see a psychiatrist for my medications. And that was the one thing that was the biggest piece of advice that she gave me was anytime you have some inkling or just some little bad sense of the safety of your kid, you got to take control.
Hmm.
Any bit of safety, like
Hmm.
don't compromise, don't push it aside.
Hmm.
Anytime that you have that inkling, no matter how small it is, step in and take control.
Yeah. Yes, that's great advice. And it's really hard when other people are watching you and you're afraid they're going to judge you.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
really hard.
yeah. I know, I mean, I know there's so many judgy people out there,
I know.
and I just kind of like, too bad. You know what? You kind of switch as a parent into survival mode. You really do.
Yes, especially
I
when they're little.
when they're little. Like I told myself, and my husband and I were totally about like we were both just like, yeah, we're gonna once we start getting into solids, we're gonna totally home cook everything and it's gonna be great.
Mhm.
And again, I if you put it simply, I work 3 jobs now. I'm working as a respiratory therapist and then yoga teacher. And I'm a mom. And on top of it, adding on like all the community yoga projects that I'm trying to do,
Hmm.
it's still it's a lot. So I it's any chance that I get, I'm not going to spend it trying to cook up a homemade meal for her. I want to
Right.
spend time with her.
Right.
I
Right.
want to I want to see her grow. I want to, and then the same thing with my husband. He's like, I'm busy. I have to go to a meeting. Here is like a yogurt fruit pouch.
Yeah.
So,
Yes. I have a really hard time with judgy people. I'm not a judgy person. I am a very much do what works for you.
yeah.
That's how I feel because everybody's different. But my husband has this saying, he always says, my life is hard enough to live. Why do I want to live someone else's? You
Oh,
can't. You
preach.
can't. It's hard enough. So worry
Preach.
about
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. It is really just it's survival mode. Like
Mhm.
you got to figure out what works for you, especially with your kind of, whatever your situation is,
Yes.
for sure.
You brought up your yoga events.
Yeah.
I wanna ask you how those have been going because of course I see them all over
Mhm.
Instagram.
Yeah. So I took a break, obviously, after having Bree. So I took like a year-long break. And then yeah, this year we're going back in like full force with it. We have two events coming up this month, and then my goal is to hopefully have one event every month throughout the summer and then kind of going into the fall. Um, this it's crazy because this time it was tickets are selling really well. It's not pulling teeth to get sales.
Mhm.
um we have, not just I'm working with the winery and I'm working with Pig Love Co. But I'm also like we have local photographers this time that want to come in, donate their time, which I didn't have in the past. So
Cool.
it's just growing into this, small businesses collaborating, working with each other,
So cool.
which is what exactly what I was trying to do with this whole thing. That was the point of the project, was building that sense of community for people,
Mhm.
how helping people meet new folks and all of that. So it's crazy. Don't know. I was on the radio.
I did. I know.
Which
Is
I
is
mean,
that available
I was
yet?
actually very nervous about that. I was very, very nervous.
How did it go?
It was really good. Yeah, it was really, really good. I was able to record it, so I know I put it on YouTube. But yeah, no, it was very nerve-wracking because it's live. This is,
Yeah.
it's different from a podcast. It's
Yeah.
different from other interviews that I've done. So it was live, and then being able to kind of jump in. I would say like any of the talking points that I had went out the window because all of the questions were more about the pigs. Um,
Okay.
you know, otherwise, no, like the fact that this is growing now, it's so exciting, and I can't wait to see what, this project, like what comes out of it. I can't
So,
wait to see it.
just for anybody who's listening, I want you to tell me where you're located
Oh yeah.
so that we can talk about it. So that I want anybody who's listening who's interested in going to be able to, especially if they're in your area, to be able to
Yeah.
go. So, tell me where you live, where it's located.
Yeah, so I live in San Jose, California, and the events are held in Sonoma, California. So basically, Sonol's in a very small place, so near Pleasanton, Tri-Valley.
Okay. And what do these events focus around?
It's so basically we do gentle flow yoga, very beginner friendly. And then we have the pigs, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
at this winery. And so it's on the lawn. And during the yoga class, which is about an hour long, and you can, the we have the pigs kind of wandering around, kind of like similar to goat yoga,
Okay.
but with these pigs. And so Pig Love Co. will bring some of their rescues out. And so a lot of them are like special needs pigs, and they're very friendly. So you can, you get to hang out with them. I have Poppy and Podrick with me as well. I do keep them separated because again, those pigs didn't grow up with Poppy and Podrick. So
Right.
trying to, again, avoid that aggression, I guess.
Yes.
But yeah, so it's all about that. After the event, you can ask any questions, you can get photos with the pigs. And then now that we actually have local photographers, you can get some professional photos done. And we
So
have some photo
cool.
packages. So you'll get some like really good quality stuff that you don't have to worry about using your phone or anything like that. Like you'll
Mhm.
get some good quality photos. Um, and then, yeah, after that, you get to spend time up in the tasting room, again, further hanging out with the pigs. We bring them up to the tasting room and you enjoy your glass of wine. So, and all of it is, we're helping raise money for this animal rescue. And it also helps, bring business to the small family owned vineyard. And then also helps me with my future events.
Yes, that's
Basically.
awesome. So I am going to put a link in the show notes.
Yes, please.
Is it to your website? Or what would it be to?
If you want to do like I'll send you the link tree for
Okay,
that. Yeah.
perfect.
Mhm.
Perfect. Okay. So if anybody's interested in going to this one, or you're going to be having one every month, hopefully.
That's the plan. Yeah,
Okay.
at least one every month. Yeah.
Okay. So that's awesome. If anybody's interested, then they'll be able to go down below, find the show notes, click
Mhm.
on, there will be a section called, I think, Sanghi's links. And so it'll
Yeah.
be right there.
Yeah.
Perfect. I so loved talking to you and I can't believe time has flown.
I know. My goodness, it's been too long.
We'll have to do this again in the future. Maybe,
Absolutely.
maybe if you have more kids or more pigs or who knows, just
I do. Yeah, I do. It's funny because I do get asked to foster, and I'm
oh,
just like, not
yikes.
right now. Like,
No,
I would love to. You know, I would.
now's
You
not the
know, I
time.
would. I can't right now. I really
Yes.
can't.
You know your limitations and that's important.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. It was wonderful. I hope to talk
Absolutely
to you
wonderful
again
to catch
soon.
up. Yes,
And
absolutely.
thank you for sharing all that stuff about being a new mom with a new baby, with pigs. I think that this episode is going to help a lot of people.
I know it's a very special little niche, but
Mhm.
I felt like it was something that needed to get addressed.
Yes,
For sure.
absolutely.
Just moms know that, you're not alone.
100%.